Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday! How are you today, my friends? I hope that you had a safe and fairly uneventful weekend. Ours was really good. We are taking this opportunity at home to do a bit of spring cleaning. So that's always good. And then I have a little bit more time in the Stampin' Studio, which is so much fun. So we have been making good use of our time and staying busy, which is certainly helping with the social distancing. Listen, you never realize how much you enjoy being around people until you can't be around people. And then it's kind of like, eh. So, we've been keeping busy to keep from being any kind of issue there. Alright, so today is not only Make It Monday, which I love, but it is also my absolute favorite Monday of the entire month because this is part of the Stampers Showcase Blog Hop. Woo woo! I love the Stampers Showcase Blog Hop. Y'all know I love it. And because of that, I have a fabulous card to share with you. This month's blog hop theme is birthday celebration. So you're definitely going to want to check out my blog, which of course I'll put the link down in the description box below because there are a lot of blogs on the hop this month and all of them have a birthday themed project for you. And we all need birthday projects, right? Yeah, okay. So today's project is super fun, super fabulous. I'm so excited to share it with you, so let's get to it. This project is not your typical card. As you can see, it is not something that looks like it opens this way, and it actually opens this way, but there's a special element to it. This is called a magic color window card. So I want to direct your attention right here to these fabulously black stamped flowers. And when I pull on the tab, magically they appear colored. Ah, isn't that great? Look. Ah, ooh, ah, ooh. You can tell that I am spending just a little too much time in the studio this week. Okay, so anyway, this is a super exciting and fun project. I can't wait to share it with you. Let me get started. All right. First things first, the stamp sets. The To a Wild Rose Stamp and Die Bundle is what I used for my project. If you don't have this set in your collection, friends, you need it. You need it desperately because it's not only two-step stamping, which is absolutely beautiful, but no, this stamp set has three-step stamping. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and they are absolutely beautiful. It makes the prettiest, absolutely prettiest detailed flowers you have ever seen. I mean, they are just stunning. Okay, so To a Wild Rose bundle we go for the flowers and these gorgeous little die cut flower and leaves. All right, so that's from that. And then our happy birthday sentiment is happy birthday here from the Peaceful Moments stamp set in the 2020 mini catalog, spring 2020 mini catalog. And then on the back side of our little magic tab, we have Life is Better with a Friend Like You stamped on the back side. Now, I'm not going to do that with this one, well, with the one we're making today. I did it with this one, but that's because this card is for a very special friend of mine, and so I'm not going to put anything on the back of the other one that we make today, but that's where I get the stamps from. And then for the flowers, I'm using Rococo Rose and Lovely Lipstick. I found that the Lovely Lipstick just makes a really, really pretty, a really nice highlighted area. So you can see here, this is the paper that I've already pre-stamped for us. It's on that flap. So these are what our flowers are going to look like before the black gets stamped. So I used Rococo Rose for the light background, and I used Lovely Lipstick for the middle, for the top background, and then we're going to use black StazOn ink because we're stamping on the window sheets. So we're using black StazOn ink to stamp the outside elements. And then I'm also using Daffodil Delight for the floral centers, and I'm using Old Olive for the leaves. So those are our colors. Now for supplies, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 12 inches by 5.5. Now, unfortunately, yes, you do need 12-inch cardstock. I guess you might be able to do 11, but it's not going to look as clean on the back side. So I would go with 12. So it's 12 inch by 5.5. And then we're going to put 4 score marks on here. We're scoring at 3. Let me grab my paper here. And actually I need to turn it around because if you notice this side is not as wide as this side. So I've got 3 3/8, 3 1/2, and then 7 3/4, and 7 7/8. And what that does is it gives you a 4 1/4 space here in between. It gives you an 1/8 of an inch gap, and then it gives you enough to fold over the back. Okay, so you will end up with a gap like that when you score your card, and that's what you want because that leaves room for your slider to go in and out. Okay, and then for this panel, you're going to need 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of designer series paper to go on the front of the card. Now you could go the whole size of the front, but I really wanted a nice little trim, so that's entirely up to you. But 4 inches by 5 1/4 is what I've done. And as you can see, I have the stitched rectangle die already on here, and I've already cut it out. But you're just going to line it up on the center, and this is the third largest stitched rectangle. Let me just double check that, but I think, yes, third largest. So the third largest one will fit on there perfectly. And then we'll go ahead and pull that one off. And then punch that out. There we go. Okay, and now our card base is ready. And then you're also going to need a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch. I'm using designer series paper, but you could use the Rococo Rose cardstock as well. This is what's going to actually show in your window. And you want it to be just a sliver short of those measurements. So just shy of 4 1/4 inches, just shy of 5 1/2. Okay, and I mean just a sliver. And it's just so that it's easier to line up inside of your parameters. Okay, and then you're going to need a 3 1/2 inch by 5 inch piece of Whisper White cardstock, and also 3 1/2 by 5 inch piece of the window sheet. So whatever you're going to use for your magic tab, you're going to cut them both the same size, and it'll be 3 1/2 by 5 inches. Okay, so there's the panel. And then of course you'll need your little extra bits for your embellishment. So I used the layering circles, and I used the Label Me Fancy punch, which is this one here, and I punched out of Seaside Spray and then folded it in half, and this is what I'm using for my tab to pull. All right. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. We have a lot to do. Okay, first things first. You're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, and along the inside center section of your card, you're going to put along the edges on these 3 sides, you'll put some Stampin' Dimensionals. And notice that I'm not using the whole full size. I'm using a half of dimensionals, and that's on purpose because you want enough room for your card to slip through the space. Okay, so if you use the full one, there may not be quite enough room. So we'll do it just like this. Alright. Okay, and so we'll push these down and take the backs off. This really is quite simple, actually. It's wonderful how it works. Okay, and I want this side to be showing through the window, so I'm going to put that side down and carefully line up my card best I can. I think that's about good. Okay, give it a little press. And then we're going to put dimensionals on this side too. Alright, so what we're doing is we're keeping that gap maintained because we want it to be easy for our magic things, our magic panels to slide through. And you'll see what I mean. And I want to stagger my dimensionals so that if this is where the bottom one is and this is where the bottom one is, I don't want to put dimensionals there because I don't want it to have too much bulk. So I'll stagger it. I'll put one here and then one up here. And then on this side, there's one there, so I'll put right here and right here. Alright, there we go. Let me put just one more on the bottom. Right there. Whoops, hold on now. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Alright. So I am happily playing with various stamp sets that I sometimes forget about when I've got celebration items to play with. So bringing out the Peaceful Moments, which is from the Occasions catalog, and then adding To a Wild Rose actually is one of my favorite stamp sets. I really do enjoy To a Wild Rose. Alright, let's grab some snail. And we're going to put adhesive on the inside of this piece, which is going to fold over, and the outside of this piece. So we'll go ahead and fold this side down. And I'm going to run some snail along this side. And then along this side. There we go. And there is our card base. Alright, now if you notice, there is that little flap right here in the middle. So this is where the magic happens. Okay, so let me show you. On this card, I have this tab holding the 2 panels together. And the clear one is on the front of the flap. Can you see that? And the white cardstock is on the back side of the flap. So see there? I don't know if you really can, but anyway, if you can't, then just trust that that's what I'm saying. So that's where the magic is. That little panel is actually hiding the colored piece in the back, okay? So now, with that in mind, what we need to do is get a couple of pieces of washi tape and our piercing mat and a piece of scratch paper. Now, I have already stamped my images 2 steps anyways on this piece. So when you're doing this project, you really want at least 2-step Stampin', okay? So that you can put one layer here, you want your color on this layer, and then you're putting your black outline on this layer, so that when they're laying together, they are a full image. But when they're in the card, they look like there's no color. That's pretty ingenious, isn't it? Alright, so now what we're doing is just taping it down to make sure that it doesn't slide, because I want to be able to stamp directly over directly over where the images are. So I'm gonna take my StazOn ink. Let me get this stuff out of the way. Alright, and make sure I've got my StazOn cleaner on hand. When you're using StazOn ink, it is important to have the StazOn cleaner because it will stain, and it's going to anyway. As you can see, there's a black tint to my stamp, but with the StazOn remover, it gets most of the ink off. So you'll have a little bit of staining, and that's okay. It doesn't transfer. I can use this stamp with regular dye-based ink and stamp it, and it's fine. But the StazOn cleaner gets it off a lot better than the Stampin' Mist. And for the photopolymer stamps especially, it's kind of hard on them, so you really want to make sure that you've got the StazOn cleaner. And you're going to use the StazOn ink pad the same way that you do any of the other ink pads. Tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. And you work kind of quickly because it dries quickly. So we will line up there. I can see that I'm just the tiniest bit off, but that's okay. Tap, 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 and I held it on there just a little too long. You don't want to actually hold it on there for any length of time. You just want to stamp it on and then bring it right back off. Okay, let's make sure that we're still lined up here. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my StazOn cleaner on the stamp so that it can be getting that ink off of there while I'm stamping the leaf. Alright. Tap, tap, tap. Yeah, can't see. Tap, tap, tap. And tap, 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 and straight down and lift off. And let's put the lid back on the StazOn and brush off the ink here. Alright, now let me get a baby wipe. And we'll go ahead and clean it off mostly. You see how it comes off almost entirely. I mean, I can still see a little tint of it, but for the most part, it's clean. There we go. All right, let's put this away, get it out of the way. Stays on is some sticky stuff. It smells good, but it's crazy. So, okay, now we're going to go ahead and pull off the washi. And we'll realign our panels here. Okay, so now you can see how the magic happens, just like so. Alright, now what I want to do is put some tear and tape on the inside of this punched out tab, the label, and I'm putting tear and tape on both sides because it's actually going to attach to the front of one and to the back of the other. And I'm using some linen thread, and I'm just wrapping it around, and I'm going to tie it into a bow. And tying bows on little tiny pieces are always fun. Especially on video. So, wish me luck. Oh, goodness. Especially with this linen thread, right? Come on, thread. There we go. Thank you. Just gotta talk nice to it, that's all. You know, sweet talking and tell it how beautiful it is and all that good stuff. Alright, there we go. Okay, now cut some of that off. Okay, and we'll pull the tear and tape backing off and go ahead and attach this to our magic card. And I will tell you that the easiest way is to start here. And let's do it this way. And I want it to just be lined up relatively in the middle and not too far down and not too far over, and you know, all that good stuff. So just everything together. And then we'll put the front panel back on, line it back up, and voila. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and give it a little crease because I really, really want it to stay put. There we go. Okay, now check this out. Here's our card with the little insert and our panel with the color, and we're going to slide one in front and one in back, and just like that, the color fades. There we go. What do you think? That's pretty neat, isn't it? Now, I'm thinking this would be really cool with the dino roar and things like that, but they don't. You want an image that is a colored image and then the outline image. So if it doesn't have that, it's not going to work out the way you want it to work out. So there are a lot of really cute stamps that would be great, but They're either just outline stamps, or they may be two-step stamps, but they're like with the Dino Roar, it's the body of the dinosaur and then the spines to make different color, or the freckles or whatever. So it's not actually a good outline. So unfortunately those don't work. But so that's what you want to look out for, are stamps that have a good color and an outline, so that they will layer on top of each other. Alright. Okay, so now let's finish this card up. We're going to use Rococo Rose to cut out the little rose, and Old Olive to cut the leaves. And then I have a Rococo Rose layered circle, a Whisper White layered circle, and I'm going to use the Happy Birthday stamp from the Peaceful Moments stamp set, and I'm just using the regular Memento Black for this because it's not on clear window sheet. And basically when you would use StazOn are for non-porous surfaces like plastic or glass or metal, someplace where the Memento Black ink might wipe right off. The StazOn will stay on. So that's when you would use that ink. But otherwise, you're just as well to use your Memento Black. You can use StazOn. If you're going to be watercoloring, you want to use StazOn ink because it won't bleed the way that the Memento ink will. But if you're doing alcohol markers like the Stampin' blends, you still want to use the Memento Black ink. So because StazOn is a solvent-based ink, you don't want to use it with the Stampin' blends because it'll absorb into it. It'll meld into the color. So that wouldn't work out very well. Okay, let's get this done. Alright, so what I'm doing is I want to put my flower right about So I want to put my fingers over the area that I don't want glue, and now I know where it's safe for me to put glue. And I need my sponge. I could have had this out already. I need my sponge and my silicone mat. Because these are filigree type designs, it's definitely easier to use this method of adhesive. So we'll put a little liquid glue down, and then let's do this one more time. Line up roughly where we want this to go. Okay, just like that. And we definitely don't want it to overlap. We don't want it to go onto the window, obviously, because we want the window to be able to slide in and out. So just be really careful when you're doing that. I put my flower down before the leaf because I want to be able to see exactly where it's going. And because I'm not gluing the entire flower, it's easy to kind of shift it around. There we go. Make sure that's not... There we go. There. And then this side... We'll do this leaf and that stem. There. Alright. There we go. And we're not too worried about the stems because our little happy birthday label are going to cover them up, thankfully. So let's use up the last little bit of this adhesive, and we'll just put it right there. All right. Ooh, hold on now. There we go. All right, touch it down and it is good to go. All right, now the only thing left for us to do are to get some of our bling bling and rhinestones. And let's see. Okay, I want to put one here, one here, and one down here. There we go. All right, friends, there we have it. Our magic color window card. Beautiful, decorative, happy birthday themed. Now, if you're wanting a place to write a sentiment, I stamped on the back side of this and then wrote my sentiment right here. Okay, so when you make this card, if you want to write something to your friend or family member or whatever, you can just write it on the back of that panel. Alright, so there we go. Beautiful card. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed today's project. Don't forget to head over to my blog so that you can check out the blog hop and follow it all the way around. You guys, I love the Stamper Showcase blog hop because there are incredible designers in this hop and they always do an absolutely amazing job at creating beautiful projects for you. So I know that you're going to have a great time checking them all out. And don't forget that there are just a couple more days left of celebration. So for every $50 that you order, you're going to get something for free. Last week, I did an entire series on the Flowering Foils Designer Series paper, and it is beautiful stuff, and I believe that there are still some available. So head on over to my website at danasullivan.stampinup.net and see all the good things that you can get for free with every $50 purchase. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you liked today's video. Don't forget to follow me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm getting so close to 1,000 subscribers and I can't wait because as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, we're doing a giveaway, friends. So feel free to like, share, tell your friends, have everybody come and subscribe to my channel so that we can do this giveaway and I can share wonderful projects with you and your friends. You can follow me on any of the social media platforms using the hashtag #TheStampinChick, and I hope to see you around. Thank you so much, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.